It is time for a best of 3 series of top level StarCraft 2. It's time for a Zerg versus Terran, where we're starting off on the map Mothership. Spawning right here, in the upper left, playing in blue. We have the man many consider to be the greatest Terran player of all time. He goes by the name of Maru. By the way, it's me. I'm part of many people. I also consider Maru to be the greatest Terran player ever. His opponent, though, interestingly enough, joined by Serral. On the main hatchery, we have none other than SHIN. Is this the build? You just spin around a random player on your... I mean, it's not really a random player, I suppose, but we've been seeing this as well from, for example, Hero. Hero has been playing with Zest on the main Nexus lately. Apparently, SHIN right now maybe, channeling a little bit of that Serral energy. Out of all the Serral portraits in the game, though, yeah, I think this is my least favorite one. But hey, SHIN likes it, and maybe he's using it to channel a little bit of that success that Serral has been having against Maru as of late. Let's see what we can go ahead and do. I gotta say though, Maru seems to just be on another level. Like, yeah, maybe against Serral he's struggling a little bit, but Maru really has been playing some stellar StarCraft 2. And truthfully, struggling against Serral, that is something that many players are suffering from, and at the very least, Maru has been winning his fair share of series here and there. But across the board, I feel like Maru is playing some spectacular StarCraft, really showing us how Terran is meant to be played. A lot of Terrans like to approach the game like Clem does it, right? So Clem just does a lot of multitasking and very, very strong mechanics. But Maru has been playing some really interesting strategies, not just against Zerg, but also against Protoss. He's been mixing in a lot of Terran mech. He's been going for crazy cheeses, and he really is a man of many talents. Maybe mechanically speaking, Clem is just a little bit stronger, but strategically, maybe also mentally actually, Maru is just an absolute monster. I've even seen him play a little bit of Battlecruiser lately. Nobody plays Battlecruisers right now outside of Terran versus Terran. I think it'll be a difficult thing to do though in this particular matchup, but let's see. Let's see. So we had a quick SCV moving across the map. Now the Reaper also will join in the fray. We already have a lot of... Actually, interestingly enough, there's no third drone out, like a hatchery building drone. Are we just going to try and sneak it around the corner and expand in the direction of the opponent? I don't really love that all too much. Leaving 2 drones in gas. Okay. We have got to keep an eye out here on what SHIN is doing. He's not even building an extra queen now inside of the main base either. Are we doing another one of those quick lair builds? Kind of feels like it. He's going to have a lot of larvae popping off right now, so that will be his mineral spending taken care of. Okay, nice snipe over here by Maru. But what is this? Yeah, I think we're doing another 2-base all-in. No, he starts up a queen now? No. What? Ugh, we are supply blocked, SHIN. Okay, this is disgusting. Cancel everything. We have to go home. Okay, he cancels the queen, goes lair instead. Second gas geyser in the natural expansion. He didn't even lose Otto yet. This was messy. I wonder though if he actually meant to click the button there to go for a lair, because he arrived just about at 100 gas when he started up that queen. Now we go into a third hatch. Okay, it's a little bit scuffed, but I think it's playable. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, as we do have a nice scout over here for Maru, he will see what's happening. He will check the amount of gas here. Yep. And he will know that this is all very acceptable. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, we've got ourselves the command center getting a nice little orbital command hat on top of itself, and that is the third base here of Maru. So this is now one of those situations where the third base of Terran is done a very long time before the third hatchery of the Zerg. So Maru, I mean, he may have been setting himself up for some early game aggression, but he really doesn't need to be aggressive anymore. And look, he's already switching away from it. I really like this follow-up here for Maru, reading everything correctly. He's just going straight into Stimpec. We have a Hellion or 2. No, we actually only have 1. Yeah, we can maybe snipe a couple of creep tumors, but honestly, with a creep tumor built like, of just this amount of queens, you just really can't do that much as a Zerg. So you don't really need Hellions either. And, ooh, the follow-up here for SHIN is a slightly scuffed version of the build that Serral recently did against Clem. About a week ago, I uploaded a video of Serral getting his revenge over Clem, and he went for a Hydralisk timing attack that is extremely odd. Honestly, I didn't really believe in it. If you haven't seen that series, I highly recommend you go check out, I believe it was game number 2 on the map Tourmaline between Serral and Clem. Either way, this was a timing attack that I had really not seen from Zergs before, where it's effectively just like a pure Hydralisk push with +1 armor. So +1 carapace seems to be the absolute key in order to make that build work. It's a bit odd, right? Because normally Hydras and Zerglings, they're very much so glass cannons, and they have separate Evo chamber upgrades. So obviously Zerglings are melee, they benefit from the melee upgrade. Hydras are ranged, so they benefit from ranged. But this is a timing attack, I think at the very least, where you go for both of those Hydra upgrades. That's exactly what he's queuing up right here in the den. And then you get the carapace to finish up right at the same time as that ranged upgrade here as well. So you go speed first on the Hydras, so you can get in location on the other side of the map, and then you push right when both of the upgrades are done. Now, the key right here for Maru, and I think the mistake that Clem made, was not taking the low ground. Like, he should not go down to the low ground right here. If you just sit behind your walls, you'll probably be okay. Oh, no. Maru, no. Maru, you really don't want to be doing this, man. I promise you, this is not what you want to do. It's bait, though. Those Zerglings are purposefully pretending to be weak because it's now allowing the Hydras to get in. Oh, Maru's sniffing it out. Maru smells Hydralisks. The smell of Hydras was in the air. Oh, I think you back off, Shin. There's no way. There's 0 chance you're going to break through the natural. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is why smell-o-vision is important. You gotta game with all your senses. Sometimes you can hear in your headphones that the rocks are being destroyed, especially on a map like Celestial Enclave. The natural expansion sometimes can be opened up, and you can only ever hear it. Now, apparently, yeah, you had the smell of Hydralisk there. Awkward game, though, now here for Maru, because he doesn't really know exactly how committed this push is. So, Shin is droning up. Like, Shin has got 3 base saturation now. Obviously, this base is relatively slow. But, I mean, he's gonna arrive at a superior economy eventually. I guess right here, that portrait is starting to make sense. It's kind of interesting, right? How build orders travel pretty quickly in StarCraft. Like, 1 week, we have Serral cooking up a new build. And then the next one, everybody has apparently practiced it enough to go ahead and bring it to the tournament games that they play now. It's pretty cool, but I don't really know exactly if either of these 2 players has really been in this situation before. Honestly, if anybody has been here before, it would probably be Maru. I think Maru pulling away from the 3rd hatch, or the 3rd command center over here, was the right call. He probably has practiced it a bunch. Oh, he finds a bunch of Hydras here as well up north. Alright. Yeah, he probably practiced against this a bunch, and he figured out what the correct response is. But how do you navigate this game right now moving forward? Does Zerg go into Lurkers, or is it going to be pure Hydraling Bane? Does Terran go for like an all-out push with 2-2 finishing up, or do you chill and maybe get a 4th command center going? Do you follow this up with an 8 Rex all-in? I mean, we are already at 8 Rexes. He did not add any add-ons here onto these additional 3 Rex. No Ghost Academy, no 4th command center, so I think we are just about to see Maru make a big push across the map, and this may just be the right call. Hive is coming, though, and we do already have Baneling speed finishing. So, let's see how this now here works out. I think, though, what Maru is doing here is indeed the right play. But it does come down to a lot of micro. Like, he needs to be microing this pretty much perfectly. He gets a lot of Zerglings here. Ooh. Shin actually thought that he had grabbed a bunch of those units, but, well, nothing could really be further from the truth. A load of Banelings are coming up right now, but honestly, I think if Maru can push, he can jump this before the Banelings finish up. Siege tanks get into a really mighty position, and while the Banes are going to pop, will they be able to ever cross the distance here? In the meantime, we do have a gigantic counter-attack as well with Zerglings over at the 3rd base, but let's keep the camera here on the main fight. The siege tank count is just so freaking nice, yeah. Maru making this pretty much impossible here for Shin. And even though this build may be new, and even though it may be reasonably unexplored, it seems to me that Maru knows exactly what he needs to do against it. Yeah. Maru has always been a very formidable tournament player. He will be very up-to-date on the meta. And he is countering it beautifully here. Look at his army now, being brought together. Multiple groups went out onto the map. But there's really no answer here for SHIN. GG. Well, there we have it. A brand new build meant to counter the Terran meta. Shut down. And pushed off a cliff. Thrown into the volcano by Maru. So all you really do, right? Quote unquote, all you really do is just not fly the command center to the low ground too early. If you realize that it's a Hydralisk timing attack, defend on 2 bases. Don't try to defend on 3. That's where it went wrong for Clem. And that is clearly, where Maru decided to make the biggest change. Maru is also just such a monster, though, when it comes to defensive play. Really, by far, the strongest defensive Terran out there. We have a pool first right here on Old Republic. A little weird. We'll have to keep an eye out on exactly what SHIN wants to go for. I also wonder, though, about the execution there from SHIN. Right? Because we did see him hit a supply block, and then he awkwardly canceled the queen that he was trying to build. He went 2 overlords, and then he ultimately started up a lair, an evo chamber, and all the rest of it. But that did not seem like a crisp execution, to say the least, right there for SHIN. Not that I really think it mattered that much. Like, maybe if he executed it better, he could have had, like, 3 additional Hydralisks out by the time that he went across the map. I don't think that would have allowed him to break open the natural, but there is something to be said for that. Honestly, there may be one of those things as well, where, yeah, hitting the perfect timing is nice, but maybe you need to hit 30 seconds later. Like, I feel like you either hit about a half minute sooner or a half minute later. Because a half minute sooner, you will have Terran just about to make the transfer to the 3rd base. And then a half minute later, you will have Terran already with their siege tanks behind the natural wall. Like, SHIN may have just hit right at the perfectly worst timing. If that makes any sense. Like, that may have just played right into Maru's arms. It's a little too early to say. I don't really know the exact timings at which you're supposed to hit, because the build is still so new. We'll have to keep an eye out and see whether or not that will actually, have a place in the meta. A couple of the SCVs will need to be pulled. Ooh. Sorry right there, man. There will be a new dude, though. Building the command center on top of your corpse. It's always nice to know that at the very least the work never stops. 3rd command center coming up right here for Maru. By the way, is the map supposed to be... Like, are these lines supposed to be blurry? Ha! Texture quality was not set to the... Ha! How long has that been the case? The lines over here on Old Republic were blurry. Wait a second. Are there any other settings that are not at the absolute max? No, I think we're good. Turn that on. Turn that on. Turn that on. Okay, sorry. Professional commentator. Alert! I got betrayed by my new computer. Yeah. Very toxic behavior. By the way, I have been, and I know most people that watch videos don't really care very much, but I've been eyeballing my own videos. Like, maxing out videos that I got on the new computer and compared it to, like, the previous one. I've been trying to compare map to map especially. And it seems like the new recording, the new render settings, and all the stuff that I can now run on the new PC do create, like, noticeably better looking videos. So I'm very pleased with that. And then I noticed just now that, you know, I've been, like, spending hours and hours and hours min-maxing the settings. And then I noticed the freaking lines on the map are blurry. One-man production team strikes again. Anyhow, Roach Warren right here for SHIN. Well, that's not a Roach Warren. A Roach Warren right here for SHIN. We have a single Hellion going into the main base. Yeah, Blizzard apparently auto-detected my graphic settings and determined that I would not be able to run this game from 2010 on the ultra texture setting. Shout out to Blizzard. Very reasonable. Can't believe it. Alright. We have some YOLO'd in Hellions. It's a little awkward. Yeah, but they end up getting a couple of kills. We now also have that Reaper going back into the main base. Maru throwing some weird units across the map. Like a couple of strange curveballs. But ultimately what he's doing here is a very similar follow-up to what we saw in the previous game. So it's again a double barracks. Double barracks over here, so not a lot of Hellion production. And I guess he's doing it this time because, again, there's not that many queens. This is a pool first opener here for SHIN, so it does delay the extra queens. And I guess if you don't know, or like if you know that there's not a lot of queens, it means that there's not going to be a lot of creep spread. And if there's not a lot of creep spread, you really don't need a lot of Hellions. I wonder if that's the decision-making process right here for Maru. Because he's, again, getting into a very solid mid-game here. Where I really don't mind his spot very much. Like, the supply count here may make it look like Zerg is in a really nice spot. And this is by no means a bad position here for SHIN. But his supply count is a little bit bloated because of these lads right over here. He stutter step microing the rocks. Very nice. Getting rid of the rocks, though, is not a bad call. Especially when you know that there aren't any Hellions out. If there are Hellions out, you're probably looking to keep them alive for a little bit longer. Oh, he's actually just shutting them down a little bit. Giving himself an out if, like, say there's a siege tank timing attack going in this direction with siege tanks stuck against the wall. Oh, okay. he decides to just finish it. Oh, I think he wanted to actually keep it at, like, 1 HP. Whatever. SHIN playing a little minigame with himself. Yep, so we end up just with a very stellar mid-game here, especially for the Terran. I think that SHIN is going to have to transition away from this Roach army eventually. Where obviously Marines, well, we have an empty medevac, quote-unquote, drop. These Marines will scale very nicely into the late game too. Awkward game though right now here for SHIN, because that's always the question you have as a Zerg here. Like, when do you make that transition? Like, you kind of just sit on this Roach-based army, and you know Terran has a nice force too, but you kind of want to trade out units. But you also know that your opponent is likely just going to double down with this army composition, and you're going to have to do something else eventually. Like, how do you proceed here as the Zerg? Do you just shove your army forward here? I mean, there was a real opportunity with that siege tank on siege. Apparently, we are going to try and just shove it in. Okay. The bunker is buying a lot of time. Second siege tank set up already. Yeah, I don't know, man. I like siege tanks as much as the next guy. But I think in this situation, they're even better than in pretty much all others. Maru decides to jump the Ravagers. Ugh. I mean, it is 22 SCVs killed. And that really is SHIN's saving grace. The fact that he managed to... Yeah, the third command center is still up. The fact that he managed to kill that many workers is nice. But the third CC will make up for a lot. Like, the fact that there is a third command center up in the air, it does create a lot of additional mining here for Maru. Maru has some really solid upgrades too. So, again, this is one of those spots where maybe I'm a little bit biased because I mostly play Zerg. I mean, I have spent like 98% of my time playing 1v1 playing Zerg. So maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I just know that in this position as the Zerg, you can't really get too excited. Like, you know you've done a lot of damage, yes, but you also know that you have to make a transition to something else eventually, which is going to be costly, and you know that Terran's going to have solid economy still with the mules that will be available on that third orbital command, right? You also know that you're going to likely be smashed in the face with like a 2-2 timing here within the next few minutes. So, do you go bailing speed right now? Do you try to go into a hive? Do you try to go into lurkers? Like, there's a lot of decisions you have to make. SHIN decides to just kind of double down on more of the same that he's already got, which is fine for the time being. But if Terran goes 3-3, you're in a world of trouble. SHIN does have a fourth hatchery now. I think he needs to make a decision, man. I think you cannot really sit around on this, like, mid-game army for too much longer. Because the Marines are going to scale too nicely over the next few minutes. Here's +2/+2 finishing. Maru actually just attacking here. Kinda crazy. He's got like 20 supply worth of Marines and he's fighting the entire Zerg army. I guess as long as you have your private jets up in the air, you may as well. Second factory out front. I like it. Fourth command center, just about to be done. Maru doing the thing that he's grown very fond of lately, where he actually takes the fourth command center before the second factory. Normally you do the things in the opposite order. Oh, gets a Ravager. Nice. Picks up again. Yeah, so SHIN is gonna shove across the map, and this is a scary army. You know what? Is there not just simply too much Zerg? SHIN believes that he does indeed have the numbers, but economically speaking, he's even with the Terran. That means he's behind because of mules. And upgrades-wise, he is also starting to fall behind. But maybe he just has the numbers to brute force his way through the third base and to destroy this Terran army. The siege tanks are in nice spots, though. 18 SCVs already die. Orbital Command itself may actually have to lift off. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Let's get it out of here. Again, though, we are looking at a very narrow defense. Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs, man, being microed left, right, and center. In the meantime, by the way, the 4th Command Center has snuck on over towards the left side of the map. Again, another siege tank does get biled down, but this is expensive. More and more roaches are being produced. Marines decide to just chase all of this down. No concussive shells available, sadly, right here for Maru. I think that would be a really nice thing. But look, this is what I'm trying to say, man. Even when you have a far bigger army there as the Zerg, I mean, that was like almost twice as much army supply there at its absolute peak for the Zerg player. These Terra units are really bloody good, and they're gonna get better. And with 3-3, I don't know if you can really... I don't even know if you can really win. SHIN is now going into an infestation pit. Okay. Here's that extra command center, by the way. And look at Maru. Maru decides to go for a 4th orbital command. A 4-orbital command. Normally the 4th base is a planetary every time. I think you go planetary here in the middle, and I think that was the original plan. SHIN did not, however, see the CC right there in the middle.
Nice strategy.
Oh god, SHIN's still playing with the Diva announcer, of course. He actually does get out of this position. Okay. So here's that step, right? So SHIN is transitioning now, like laterally. Rather than teching up, which he is also doing, he's going into Banelings here, which really feels like a sidestep. He does have +2 carapace done, so maybe when the hive finishes, he can go into an Ultra Cavern and then replace any of the roaches when they die ultimately with Ultralisk instead. But it's a long-term plan. For now, Maru is growing in the supply count. Maru is going to have +3 armor for his infantry units done as well soon. It is important, though, for Maru to maybe go into something like a Ghost Academy here before too long. He's decided to go into Liberator production instead. I don't really mind it, but the idea of having a Ghost Academy is probably the right call. 4th Command Center, by the way, from the left side of the map, will fly on over towards the middle instead. And this game has become very funky. Ooh, siege tanks unsieged at the moment. Zerglings do swoop in. Corrosive Biles as well in between. Although somehow, some way, that second siege tank survives it. Big Zergling run by as well over at the 3rd base. That is going to be another free tank and a bunch of SCVs as well to boot. Whoa. I think this is really quite nice here. Yeah, this is great here for SHIN. What about the main fight, though? Ooh. Well, as soon as I looked back at the main fight, it seemed like the Zerg army had just disappeared, but the reinforcing units are popping out of their cocoons right now. The Corrosive Bile still able to reach those siege tanks from a very far away distance. Okay, SHIN cleans it up. Maru's gonna have to go home. The precious cargo of the Medevacs? It's 1 Marauder. Dude, this is like 9 Medevacs and 1 Marauder. Ay, ay, ay. What a lucky guy. It's a lot of losses on both sides of the map. But ultimately, as the dust is settling right now, I'm liking this position for SHIN more and more. I think Adrenal Glands. Adrenal Glands is the absolute no-brainer upgrade right here. Maru's still at a solid enough eco, and keep in mind, he does have 4 orbitals, so the actual income levels are higher than they normally are. I honestly think +3 armor is not as important here as Adrenal Glands. Like, Adrenal Glands is such a big damage improvement. Here we go again. Maru with low HP units moves in. I would love to see, like, 1 Viper. Alright, Roach Warren gets sniped, though, which is a cool play. Liberator over here also does get biled down. Maru continues SCV production now. He starts up a 5th command center. A super chaotic and very scrappy match. But I think SHIN's position here is one that he quite enjoys. We really need to see this upgrade though, SHIN. Like, this upgrade is probably the most important one. And also the easiest one to forget. Like, this kind of feels like forgetting combat shields, you know? And I could hear Terran players around the world cringe. Like, everybody's played a game where they accidentally forgot combat shields, and you didn't realize until you checked the replay, and you realized, oh crap, that's the reason I lost. Like, my units literally lacked just straight up survivability. Nice micro right there by SHIN, who is gonna try and force the issue right before his double upgrades are done. Ooh, does he have enough stuff though? The siege tank numbers are not looking that impressive anymore. And even though this is an awkward fight, I think it's working out in SHIN's favor. Yep, he gets both the medevac as well as a siege tank right there with those biles. More and more SCVs are dying. We're approaching triple digits worth of SCV kills. And there we have it. SHIN. He manages to get the job done, but man, did he have to fight for it. Okay, and that takes us to another one of the TLMC maps. A map that never made it to the StarCraft 2 ladder, and a map that I consider to be named the absolute worst in recent memory. So this map is called Missing You Today. Really? Missing You Today? That's... like, is this a reference to something? Could we, like, have picked a cringier name? I don't know. Anyhow, the map layout itself is solid, though. And I think the graphics of it are nice. I think overall, it is a pretty sweet map. But Missing You Today? Really? Maybe it's lost in translation somewhere, you know? Like, maybe the map maker is in a non-English speaking country. Maybe English is like their 4th language. Maybe in their... I don't know. But I don't really like it. No. Although, to be fair, I have noticed over the years that I have complained about map names. More so than anybody else out there. Like, nobody seemed to have any issues with maps named Giganatha. Like, come on, man. Why are we... This is horrible. Anyhow, apparently I'm a touchy person when it comes to map names. Yeah, not that I have any suggestions as to what to name it instead, by the way. Although I've always liked the way that Maris does it. So Maris, she has a lot of... Let me get a couple of her names out there. Maybe you can spot the theme. She has a lot of maps that made it to the StarCraft 2 ladder over the years. Maps like Death Aura, Disco Bloodbath, Everdream, Ghost River, Golden Aura, Moon Dance. Apparently, and I don't really know because I don't really listen to that type of music, but all of those are like heavy metal songs. That's pretty cool. Like, we have a bit of a theme, but Missing You Today? I don't know. All right, Command Center... Sorry. Command Center on the low ground right here for Maru, as he is going to send in that Reaper Scout as well. Yeah, maybe we need to name it after K-pop songs. Maybe that's a good idea. Names like Boom Shakalaka. Wow, fantastic, baby. Like, names like that. Okay, maybe you can do better than that. Maybe this is one of the use cases where AI is incredibly nice. Like, ask Claude or ChatGPT to, like, generate a StarCraft 2 map name based on the official StarCraft 2 map names. Like, it will generate hundreds of options. Now, all of them are going to be plain and boring, so maybe use it as inspiration only, but... Missing You Today? Okay, alright. Man, the map maker of this map is never going to submit a map ever again. Bullied by Lowko. I'm sorry, it's not a personal attack, okay? It's just that the map name is... Okay, I'm done. Lair again here for SHIN. Really? Very quick Lair. Do we go +1 armor, Hydra push yet again? Look at the Hydra or the Hellion split over here. I do think it's kind of cool to actually have a theme, though, in your map names. I think something like Metal Songs is pretty sweet. Like anything Nightwish, for example, could be really sweet, right? There's a lot of cool options. Name it after anime. That seems to be very, yeah, that's... We have a map named Freerun. Demon Slayer LE. Ubu. Ayaya. Run Devil Run. That time I got reincarnated as a Protoss probe. See, there's many good options. Hydra then again here for SHIN. Hydra then again together with a very quick evolution chamber. So even though it didn't really work out very well on the Mothership map, maybe we can do it with a +1 armor and then good old Hydra upgrades, right? Maybe if now Maru for some reason decides to forget how to defend against it, there's no way he had forgotten, though, in the last 30 minutes, right? I don't know. It could be, and I have seen this before, where players get a little bit too confident, where actually they decide to just still take the third command center down to the low ground, and then for some reason it still works out. Interesting opener, by the way, here. Maru doing the same build now thrice in a row. So it's again this mass focus here on Marines early on. He does build Hellions, but only a handful. Do I like this build? I don't know. I feel like this like very quick Hydra opener is just kind of weird. Here go the Zerglings. Again, he wants to fake the Proto or the Terran rather to take their third base away, but he really obviously wants Terran to take the third. Scan over here for Maru. That's a big scan. The scan over here will confirm roughly what's going on, although he did not quite see the... Oh, he did see the Hydra then. He did actually see the Hydralisk then over there. Okay. Maru. Oh no, see? Maru is confident. Maru decides to just take the third base here regardless, but interestingly enough, SHIN right now has decided to call the bluff. Where, in this particular instance, the exact push that he went for on Mothership would work out. But because Maru assumes that SHIN assumes that that is going to be the case, we get some, like, 200 IQ mental gymnastics here. But Maru decides to just take 2 bunkers. Wait, he did make a second bunker as well, didn't he? No, he actually only went for 1 here in the end. He canceled one of them. He actually just takes the third base and he's fine with it. Yeah, it's because SHIN has just been droning up the third instead, and he's taking this weird Hydra opener right now just as like a little stepping stone. This has actually kind of gotten a little insane. But SHIN can drone up so fast from here. He doesn't even have the 4th hatchery done, but he's already starting to oversaturate his bases. Yeah, it's going to be the one right over here at the bottom. Already up to 73 workers is not bad at all. He's got the hive coming up. He's got the baneling nest building. We have +2/+1. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, I mean, I keep a lot of attention here on what SHIN has been doing throughout these games, and it's mostly just because Maru is doing Terran builds. And Terran builds, roughly speaking, tend to look, well, kind of samey, right? This is actually a bit of a different opener for Maru, but it is the 3rd time in a row that he's playing the same build. Maru just has such a reach, right? Like, his range of play is really quite ridiculous. You need to run away, though. You need to run away. The Hydras don't yet have their dash ability. I wonder if rushing out the dash is actually worth it. Scan is going to confirm the timing of the hive. And this is still a quick hive. Honestly, a weird opener here for SHIN. So, a very late third. A very quick Hydra then, relatively speaking. But then we still get the hive done at like 8:15 or so. And that's still early. Not the fastest possible hive out there, but it's still remarkably quick, considering the amount of economy that SHIN had early on in this match. Now, what do we build up with it? Is it just for Adrenal Glands? Do we get Vipers? I think Adrenal Glands, Vipers, Ultras? Yeah, that makes the most sense. I don't actually think SHIN is a big fan of Vipers. Zergling run by though, attempted. And I think Maru is just about to see if he can keep his opponent honest. This hatchery is not going to live. Fungal growth though could be spicy. Time to raise your APM! Oh, well, you know what? I don't think Diva was lying about that one. Still though, the siege tank there in the back picks up a very rapid 8 kills. And Maru already got what he came for. He wanted to cancel that one. Big Zergling run by again, attempted, but reinforcing Terran units are doing just fine in that regard. Maru's clever Sim City also making this all quite manageable. Maru again, by the way. And this is kind of cool. He did this as well in the first game. He again goes for an 8 Rex. It's an 8 Rex with the additional Rexes out front and without any add-ons, which is usually only ever played if you want to go for a very sharp attack. But then he does go for a 4th command center on the back of his too. So Maru is making some very interesting plays. Man, this is a Zergling grinder though. No chance to really push through. What about the fight over here? No more energy on any of those infestors. So say goodbye to your 4th hatch. An Ultralisk is just about to pop out, but the Ultralisk will not have chitinous plating done. Oh, well, you guys, I'm sorry, lads, but you just do not have the armor that you need in order to live. This is a cruel world. The rest of the Terran army, in the meantime, is making a little foray down south. And Maru is thinking about doing some drops. Yeah, we're going to elevator our way into the main base now. And that is where that very expensive Ultralisk cavern is currently located. Distraction down south working out quite nicely. Ultras will crash into this. But you know what? Maru will be happy to just shoot those Ultras from the low ground. Like shooting fish in a barrel over there, man. Ultimately, the Hydras did end up getting a bit of work done. The double medevac drop has arrived over at the 3rd. Okay. It's messy, it's scrappy. I feel like Maru is maybe overextending a little bit. But I like this position for him quite a lot. He really should put up a little bit more effort, though, into getting this base up and running. Yeah, he got the tech labs now as well on that triple setup over here. Do we have a Ghost Academy built? We do not. No Ghost Academy, no second starport. Yeah, Blinding Clouds over here are sweet. And I think actually with those Vipers right now available, it is about time that we go home again with the medevacs. Instead, we go into Drilling Claws. Interesting. This is a surprising switch here. I really feel like a Ghost Academy makes a lot of sense. Focusing on Widow Mines is not a bad idea. But you know what? Maybe the map maker does miss them. But Maru is clearly not missing the Ghost today. Maybe they're the most complained about unit in the game, but Maru doesn't need it to win games of StarCraft, it seems. Look at those Ultralisks. Oy, 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 oy. These are like the least Ultralisks that I've seen in a while. Yeah, the chitinous plating upgrade, it just never finished. He starts it up yet again. This time around, he did reposition it. That is Ultra Cavern number 3, by the way. 12 minutes into the game. Maru is building up more and more command centers, but still no second starport, still no Ghost Academy. It just seems so risky to me. Those structures are not that expensive at this stage in the game. I guess he just totally does not respect Ultras at all. Maybe I respect them a little bit too much. Yeah, Maru doesn't need to counter them. He just makes Marauders and Widow Mines. Marauders and Widow Mines, that's all he needs when he plays against Ultras. Big group of Zerglings over here. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, there's not enough army here to really push that away. In the meantime, though, it's because Maru is counter-attacking yet again. Maru is maybe having a little bit too much fun here. There's the Ghost Academy, finally. Still trying to do some stutter step micro, though, and he gets another Ultra. Chitinous plating still not done. Look at this tiny hit squad of Marine Marauder, man. Oh, okay. Pretty scary number of Terran units still available, but the Zerg here is big enough to push away that newly made CC. The Hydras here will likely be able to get the job done, although the Ultras are again dying. I feel like Ultras have been absolutely horrible so far in this particular match. My god. They're doing absolutely nothing. At least he's gonna get a burnt down command center for his troubles. Bunch of Hydras also pay the price. Some Zerglings here get hit by concussive shells. Yeah, we've had 9 Ultralisks die and 2 Ultra Caverns. You know what? I kind of wonder if Maru did the Zerg here a favor when he sniped those Ultra Caverns. Like, hey, buddy, you're making a mistake. You didn't get the hint? Let me kill your second Ultra Cavern as well. You're making a mistake. Don't build the Ultras. Are you dumb? I'm not even making Ghosts. I'm not even making Liberators. And I'm still killing your Ultras. Like, I'm not even countering them, and I'm still countering them. Hatchery over here is gonna get sniped. Dude, I love the fact that he knows that there's triple Ultra Cavern out there, and he decides to go Widow Mines with Drilling Claws. Like, that's the counter he's come up with. Yeah, Maru is a menace. Maybe he set himself a challenge in this particular series to only win, whilst making mostly units that start with the letter M. Marine, Marauder, Medevac, Mine. That apparently was the rule. He did make a couple of Meech tanks. He did get a Miberator or 2 as well in the previous games. But ultimately, most importantly, he does get the job done. GG.